Shalom. I am co-pastor Juanita Weiss along with my husband David at Kingdom Life Messianic Congregation. And we're also co-founders of Weiss Ministries Incorporated. It is my delight to bring to you another Torah nugget. This week's Torah nugget is taken from this week's Parasha, which is the Torah portion for this week. And it is entitled Tetsaveh, which means, and you shall command. It's taken from Exodus 27 through 30. Now, there were so many nuggets in this portion, but this is the one that I felt that the Lord really inspired me to share with you today or this week. And this nugget comes from God's instructions to Moses on what the high priest is to wear. What are the priestly garments that that Aaron is to wear? And so not only garments for Aaron, but garments for Aaron's sons as well, who would be the priests. Now, one piece of garment that really stands out for me is that breastplate. It's called the Choshen Mishpat. It's the breastplate of judgment. And on this breastplate were 12 stones, 4 rows of 3 stones each. And on each stone was engraved the name of one of the sons of Israel, Bnei Yisrael, from the oldest to the youngest. And so these stones were on the breastplate. And what's so interesting is that the Lord himself in Isaiah 59 wears a breastplate of righteousness. So when he shares that this is what Aaron is to do, Aaron is only replicating what God himself does by wearing this breastplate. But on his shoulders, on the shoulders of the high priest, was supposed to be these 2 sardonyx stones, and they're set in gold. And on each stone were written the names of Bnei Yisrael. 6 names on one shoulder and 6 names on the other shoulder. So I want you to picture this. When the Cohen HaGadol, the high priest, which is Aaron, or anyone who succeeds him afterwards, when he walks into the holy place and the veil is opened, remember he could only go into the Holy of Holies one time a year, but he could go into the holy place wearing this vestment, wearing this Choshen Mishpat. And when the veil was opened, before him was the Ark of the Covenant, or the Kippurit, the mercy seat. So it is as if God is looking upon these stones and remembering Bnei Yisrael, because he calls them remembrance stones. And in addition to that, when the Lord looks down even from the heavenly tabernacle, and he looks upon Aaron, the high priest, he sees the names of Bnei Yisrael. So he remembers them as he looks down from his heavenly tabernacle, as he looks forward from the Kippurit, the mercy seat. He remembers Bnei Yisrael, the stones of remembrance. Well, I want you to go with me a few thousand years later when Yeshua, our Cohen HaGadol, now after his resurrection, has entered now the heavenly tabernacle. I think the writer of Hebrews in Hebrews, the 9th chapter says this. He says that, and our high priest, Yeshua, has entered into the heavenly tabernacle for us into God's presence. I don't know if you're getting that or not. But what Aaron was doing was only a foreshadowing of what Yeshua would do himself. So Yeshua going into the presence of God, carrying our names, the names of his bride, the names of everyone who has committed their lives to him. Now, how is this important to you today? I think this is important because 1 Peter 2:9 says that we have been called a royal priesthood. That means, you know it, the veil of the temple has been torn in two from top to bottom. You have access into the Holy of Holies. You have access into the very kaporet, the very throne room, the mercy seat of God. And I believe that he tells you, it reminds you that these names need to be brought to him as remembrance. When was the last time you took the bride of Messiah before him? He's already selected his bride. His bride is Israel, those who call on the name of Yeshua. And he's grafted us as Gentiles into this wonderful privilege to be able to access the presence of God. I encourage you, by that authority that Aaron had, he had the divine power to be able to go into the presence of God and lift these names up to him in remembrance. And you have that same authority. Remember B'nai Israel, because when you remember B'nai Israel, you remember the bride of Messiah. You remember yourself and your children and your children's children and everyone who will call upon the name of Messiah Yeshua. God bless you. If you have enjoyed this Torah nugget, would you share it with a friend? Shalom Ovarecha, peace and blessings to you and your home.